Hi guys, it's very dark and strange weather at the moment, so I appreciate you showing up here as I'm showing up for you. Today's live is an express session for Facts and Stats Friday because actually I'm running a local leaders masterclass and people will be arriving shortly, but I wanted to make sure that we had a little reminder on how I use my tools to identify when I'm pulled off center, how I press pause, the language I use, even if I just need to create space to come back to something with someone, and also some tips and tricks that I use as often as necessary to get back in the driver's seat and to recalibrate or press reset. Now, these tools are essential if you are a leader. So if you find yourself often saying, there's no one there to support me, or I'm always helping other people, or I've got to blend family and business, and there's so much going on in the world right now, it's so impossible to plan anything. We've got more financial uncertainty than ever before. You know, diesel and petrol prices have gone up. People are looking for homes across the globe as so many circumstances change. So the feeling of safety amongst the general population is gone. And that means that most of you who are in leadership positions, whether it's just leading a family, leading yourselves, leading a company, or as an entrepreneur, you're going to have to take on board a lot more responsibility than normal. So if you haven't worked with me before, and if you're on the private Facebook group, good to see you whenever you're listening to this. I'm absolutely obsessed with making sure that I provide the tools for people to have sustainable success. That means removing the peaks and troughs, removing the incessant self-doubt, and actually understanding that there is far more than we realize out there in terms of abundance. And profitability means being profitable in all areas of your life, and that you don't have to cannibalize one thing to have the other. So that's my mission. So thank you for joining me. If you haven't already, I want to do the obligatory. Please like and subscribe. I would love your support on my YouTube channel, Vitality Coach TV. I'll put the link below, and also Radical Self-Belief, the podcast. If you've got a book from me, if you've been part of the online program, if you've attended a workshop, come join us on a radical private VIP members only Facebook group. It's a very, very special group for me, and it's very dear to me, and I'm very, very engaged in that group, and that's how I feel I can try and provide extra support. So anyway, let's get on to today's express session, because I try and keep things short, but if you know me, I'm always being pulled off in different ideas and directions, and I want to add extreme value in these videos. However, this one is about reducing overwhelm in an instant and putting you back in the driver's seat. So let me keep it really clear and simple, and I'm going to try and keep it under sort of 10 to 12 minutes. First of all, how do you feel when you are getting stressed, pulled off course, pulled off that grounded, calm, intelligent approach where you know you can handle anything, and the levels of anxiety, your levels of tolerance are changing? You might feel a change in your heartbeat. You might feel that you're a little bit fuzzy in thinking. You might feel a bit anxious, angry, irritated. You also, the other feelings of being out of your centered self, noise, light will bother you. You'll probably drive from A to B and you won't even remember how you got there. You've just been on autopilot. Noises, kids, people asking questions, too many emails, text messages. I mean, everything will kind of start triggering you. And the first thing I always say to people is, if you are not in flow with yourself, you can't actually operate with sovereignty and unity in the outside world. We get so pulled out of ourselves by external factors, whether it's people, places, things, or projects. So the whole purpose of what I coach is to keep you in a ecosystem that allows you to navigate this crazy world without pulling yourself off course. But that means an acute awareness and impeccability of honesty with yourself. We know as we start to get busy, we know that we start forcing too many things in our day. We know that we stop putting our well-being and downtime to the side. We start putting it to the side when we we have to solve a problem, or we have to work on a deal, or we have to go and help someone. That is where you start falling into the trap of busyness.com or martyrdom, which is, yes, but there's no one else to help. Yes, but I like to be there for others. Yes, but I'm the head of the family. Yes, but I'm the boss. all those things that tell you that you have to be there, they don't say at your own expense. If you've read any of my books, all three of them talk about the importance of self-care and what I call putting your oxygen mask on first. So the first tip is be acutely aware when you're being pulled off center from those indications that I just gave you before: noise, light, agitation, frustration. You might go to caffeine, reach for sugary drinks, all sorts of things where you're just completely working on adrenaline rather than flow. So when that happens, what I recommend you do is you press pause. Not every email, text message, or comment needs to be answered immediately. If there are a few people waiting at your office door, or your phone's ringing, or people are messaging you, you're not required to immediately come out and solve all their problems. What you are required to do is create a safe place to breathe and bring yourself back into harmony and say, could you just wait a few minutes, or could I get back to you on that tomorrow? Or thank you, but maybe book a time. And if it's your kids, of course, just say, hey guys, I'm right in the middle of something. I'll take a couple of minutes for myself, and then I'll come out and help you with X, Y, Z. Or then I'll come out and help you with your homework or play outside or whatever else. But it's creating a buffer. Just like when a video uploads to YouTube, or you're uploading a big piece of content somewhere, it has to buffer before it can get uploaded. You need to create a buffer before you go out into the world and keep depleting all your own personal resources. But you have to recognize the signs early enough so you don't put yourself in a state of panic, anxiety, and frustration for absolutely no reason. This is self-mastery. So being able to identify that and press pause, which means pushing yourself back from the computer, putting the phone down, standing up, going outside for a 30-minute, 4-minute, 5-minute walk, going to get some water from the water cooler, or anything that will change that immediate environment that you're sitting in. That is the way to press reset. So if you sit there and you stare at a P&L, a balance sheet, if you're worried about an email that's come through, if you're feeling absolutely overwhelmed by the news of the world at the moment and you feel like you can't help, the best thing to do is to press pause, to create a buffer from all of that white noise, to step away from wherever you're receiving that information and actually create space. Space is when we can actually hear our deep intuition versus our subconscious. Space is where you can recalibrate your body on a cellular level to allow it to rejuvenate, recover, and get back to its normal state. So everyone talks about breath work, and in fact, the fastest way for you to get back to yourself is to listen to your breath. So if that's the one thing you do to recalibrate and press reset when you're stressed out, overwhelmed, anxiety, frustrated, grumpy, angry, twitchy, whatever it is you must come back into self. And the purest way to come back to self is by listening to your breath. That is your absolute elixir. Without breath, there is no life. So your ability to breathe and be centered is exactly the same that anyone would use if they're an athlete. But we're all athletes in life. We're all Red Bull athletes in life. We're all doing crazy things, pushing ourselves to the limit, expanding our horizons, looking for the best life we could possibly create. That shouldn't be at the detriment of your happiness, your well-being, and your health. And if it is, and if you are super busy, and if you're feeling like a martyr, and if you're solving everyone's problems, but you're not putting your oxygen mask on first, then chances are you haven't mastered self-leadership, because sustainable success means making sure that your solid foundations are there so that then you can help and provide for other people. So those are my 3 tips today for Facts and Stats Friday. We all go through it. We all have anxiety. We all get frustrated. We're all worried about things. It's what you do with it that really matters. So deploy the 10-90 rule. 10%, recognize the issue, take stock, set yourself off, don't go down a rabbit hole with worry. 90%, what's the next right thing to do? So if you feel off course, listen to your body, observe your own behavior, listen to your heart rate, see if you're agitated by sounds, noise, light, other people, too many questions, too many emails, anything that's going to freak you out and press your buttons and trigger you. Or maybe you just see something on a social media post and it triggers you. It just means you're out of flow, because nobody else's actions need to affect you. You need to stay sovereign in yourself. So if you feel like that and you feel overwhelmed and you're helping too many people and you can't get yourself feeling centered and grounded and calm, then you have to press pause, Remove yourself from the situation, even if it means getting up out of your desk and going to have a glass of water, walk the dog, tell your kids, your colleagues, your business partner, your spouse, I just need a couple of minutes. Go and press reset. And then when you do that, focus on your breath. Focus on the fact that actually the reality is that you're safe, that you're putting yourself under pressure to be there for everybody else. So make sure you discern the difference between martyrdom and responsibility. Oxygen mask first and cannibalizing your own health and well-being to be there to support others. If you're truly a great leader in your life, then you know that you need a solid foundation and need to deploy these skills all the time. That's why working with me is a challenge, because I'll confront you on those things. If finance is going to be the scariest part that gives you anxiety, then you need to dive into that and start getting a really good foundation so you feel empowered by the information. The same thing with yourself. If you feel anxiety and you're trying to do things the same way all the time and nothing's changing, that is the definition of insanity, because you're going to get the same results. So stop putting expectations of how you think life should be onto how life is at the moment. Your ability to be agile, to press pause, and to reset at any given moment is what's going to put you in the driver's seat. And that ultimately is what Radical Self-Belief, the book, the checkpoints, the course, and all my obsessive coaching is all about, is making sure that you are legitimately in the driver's seat for sustainable success. That you're a bit like Neo from the Matrix, that when a bullet comes, you can just get slightly out of the way and recenter yourself. So don't be collateral damage for this crazy world at the moment. We need you to deploy the tools to stand up for yourself, to press pause, to recognize when you're taken off center, and to do those little tricks and tips that I just mentioned. The very most important one is to be super relevantly aware of your breath. Any good athlete will tell you that that's the first place to start. And just by default, by breathing properly, you're putting fresh oxygenated blood through your body. You're reoxygenating your brain, you're changing the cellular dynamic and system that your whole body's working off, and it's replacing your fear with curiosity and your chaos with calm. So I hope you love this little facts and stats mini session live on the private members Facebook group. It will be later on YouTube, and possibly I might make it an express session on the podcast if you really liked it. For more information and more tips and tools, please like and subscribe to Vitality Coach TV. I'll put the links below. Radical Self-Belief, the podcast. And don't forget, Radical Self-Belief is now a 12-week amazing course, lifetime access. It goes with podcasts, videos, the book itself, worksheets, and I'm absolutely dedicated to making sure that you get radical results. If you want more information, just reach out, leave a comment. I hope you really love this little Facts and Stats Friday session. Remember, you have to be in charge of how you feel, show up, and navigate your day. The moment you hand over your power to anyone else, you're not listening to your body, being aware of your mindset, and taking charge to be in the driver's seat. I'm Nikki Fogden-Moore, the Mojo Maker. I'm super excited to go and kick off the Local Leaders Masterclass here in a few minutes. And come like and subscribe, and I'd love to hear your comments on what you'd like to hear about next. Thanks so much for tuning in. Like and subscribe on YouTube, and also we'd love to have you come over and subscribe to Radical Self-Belief, the podcast. We hope you've reignited your vision and showing you how to harness your effortless energy to be the CEO of your business as well as your life.